Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. Today we're going to try something a little bit different. I'm going to try answering some commonly asked questions from our channel watchers or viewers. And, well, just kind of open up a forum here that says that try to listen, try to pass information on. That's what part of Second Chance Tackle is all about. It's about knowledge transfer, showing you a little bit about the fishing reels, a little bit about how to service them, how to do the work yourself, and maybe just increase your knowledge overall about fishing reels in general, the manufacturers and the like. And I get a lot of questions. I get the questions in the comment section, which I always welcome, and I suggest that you go ahead and do. And a lot of times they're one-on-one questions. I just had a phone call come in, for example, and it said, my spin fishing reel, it's a pen reel, the shaft doesn't go up and down. What's wrong with it, right? Well, those are mechanical kinds of questions. I'm happy to answer them. I generally start with how are you using the reel and why did it break, right? But typically the answer on that is a mechanical one, and it's something to the effect of the oscillation system. Or sometimes I'll get a question on a line guide that'll come in. Somebody will ask me on a reel that they are using, the reel over here, and then it just bounces back and forth. It never goes any further. Again, a mechanical question, and it's usually affected with that pawl in there. But I get some unusual questions. I thought maybe that's where we would start today. Maybe the ones that are not mechanically related. Maybe there's some of them that will be helpful to you as you kind of expand your knowledge of fishing reels and the like, and as you look to gain some information about products, whether they're older or newer products and the like. Well, before I get started, I do want to encourage you to subscribe to my channel if you like this. And if you do subscribe to my channel, please use that notification button. And if you have suggestions for videos, we're going to try this one, see if it works. If it works, then we'll kind of do some more of them. If it doesn't work, well, we tried, right? That's part of the whole thing of learning about fishing reel service and repair. So let's start with the first one. The first one is a question about grease versus oil. And they say on bearings, I noticed when I opened up my reels, a lot of bearings have oil in them, and a lot of them have grease in them. And what do you prefer, right? And I think the question itself came about from opening up a Penn battle reel, and it was a new reel, and it had all of the bearings were greased, right? And of course, those of you that watch my channel know that I prefer oil over grease, and that comes from experience. I think when you open up a reel that comes from the factory, generally speaking, it's going to be loaded with the grease for a couple of reasons. One of them is it's going to take a long journey. Most of the time those reels are made somewhere else. They're going to be shipped over from the manufacturing site, which is normally overseas, to the US. They're going to be sitting in hot containers. They're going to be sitting in warehouses for some time. All of that causes oils to evaporate. And well, when the oils evaporate, then you're going to be left with dry reels when the customer opens them up. So a lot of folks put the grease in there. A lot of manufacturers put the greases in there just because it's more substantial and it doesn't evaporate as quickly. My downside to the grease versus oil question is that a lot of times the grease will become adherent, and micro sands, micro salts, and the like get in and they stick to that grease, and then it becomes an abrasive paste. And unless you're keeping your reels serviced and changing that out on a frequent basis, that becomes destructive to the bearing. And well, you get a frozen bearing, or you get one that's worn, particularly if it's just a shielded or even a non-jacketed kind of a bearing. And well, that's my answer to that question. I prefer the oil. Yeah, it's going to evaporate. It is going to provide the slip you need in the bearings, and that oil will evaporate over time. So you do need to make sure that you're doing that on a regular basis. All right, next question that came up: can you rechrome a fishing reel post or a spool? Somebody has a reel that's been around a while, and here's one that we'll take as an example. This one is a pen from the Mariner series. You can see that there's been a lot of chrome loss here. And if you look back on this reel is probably 30 years old. You can see we've got where here the chrome plating is gone on the side plates here. Let's say this is the reel you grew up fishing with. You'd like to restore it to showroom condition. There's not a lot of folks out there that would want to do that, but hey, some people want to do it, and some people have actually asked over time about that. The answer is yes, those parts can be rechromed. You would need to find a specialty company that works on plating. My suggestion always is check with your local motorcycle shop or manufacturer of motorcycles. Find out where they do that, because it can be done. Now, a word of caution, it can be done, but it's going to be expensive, right? But you could do that, and if this is a sentimental reel that, well, you know, again, it means more to you than dollars and cents, and you really want to see that, you know, make that look like the reel that came out of the box the first time you purchased that or was given it as a gift, it can be done. So most of the older reels like this have a brass type of a crossbar, brass side plate trim rings and the like. You can bring it down to brass and it can be rechromed. If you want to purchase new to make it look that way, Penn still provides some of those parts if it's a Penn reel. Problem is that most of those are brushed aluminum now. They're not no longer the chromed pieces. And well, if they're not the chrome pieces, you know, and you want to restore it to the way it came out, then well, probably have to look for something else. Okay, another question came in. It was, what's your favorite tool? Wow. I mean, just looking at my table here, you know from what I've seen that there's tools laying all over the bench. Each one of them has a purpose. I do try to keep my tools close at hand, and when I keep my tools close at hand, my favorites are right there with me. So I'm not going to break it down to one. How about three? Just looking at what's laying on my desk here. How about three? The first one is kind of indispensable to me is the micro pliers. This one I believe is a Crescent micro pliers. I actually have a backup. This one actually says Crescent on it, so I'll say that at least this one's a Crescent. This one might be a Klein tool, I'm not quite sure. But each one of them has that very small beak, which is perfect to me for grabbing those small pieces and parts, springs and the like, centering screws and holes, holding something steady as you try to place it in a particular position and the like. These are among my favorites. You can see it's well worn, whatever it was. The printing or identification of the tool is certainly worn off there, but that's among my favorites. The second one actually was given to me by Dick. I keep acknowledging him. This is a Klein Tools screw starter, and I am always thankful for that. This is for a slotted screw, a flat-bladed screw, if you will. It will enable me to grip it because when you push down on the ferrule here, it expands the double-side blade, fills the gap, and then it enables you to hold that screw tight as you're starting them. And there's a lot of reels like this that have a very small screw and not a lot of working area. That's perfect for using that screw starter, and that again is among my favorites. So those are two. And the other one is a specialty tool. This one is a aftermarket one. This is an Allen Tanny wrench. It's designed for Penn reels, and I do work on a lot of Penn reels. This one is an Allen Tanny one, and when you look at the original reel wrench that comes with the Penn reel, if I can find one here. This is the original, and it matches up with the lower one, which is for the smaller Penn reels, the scalloped nut. And you can see that this one has got a lot more leverage to it. It's another 2 inches longer, and it also has a thicker side plate. Well, anybody who's tried to use this tool to take that scalloped nut off knows that you can work it up to a certain point, and then there's a gap between that screw handle, or handle screw, and the handle itself, and this oftentimes will slip underneath it, and well, it just becomes annoying. This one with the wider width to it just makes it work perfect. Well, that's a start at answering some questions, and I hope it's something that you will enjoy seeing. I'm going to do a second video on this. I don't want these to run too long. Just want to focus on a couple of things, and what we did today was grease versus oil, rechroming, and my favorite tool. And we'll come back. We'll do a second edition of this, and then in the comment section, please let me know that you enjoy these. If you have ideas for videos, if you have questions that need to be answered, if you think this is something that I should continue to do, let me know. And if you think it's something that you're not interested in, that's okay too, right? It's about sharing knowledge and about learning, and if this helps everybody learn, well, then I'm open to doing a couple of these on occasion. So let me know. I want to wish our first responders and essential personnel a very heartfelt thanks for everything it is that you do, and I want to encourage everybody to continue to learn, to enjoy the art of reel repair, and to keep those reels fishing. This is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. Have a great day.